Dungeons and Dragons. I believe it to be a marvelous game, but recently I had a friend who would love to play, but didn't know what the mechanics or much about it. So this is also a reminder that I don't want to just be a Minecraft-only gaming YouTuber, but I clearly can't do animation, so props up to all the animators. To begin, you can either do a character sheet online through a website or by hand. And if you do by hand, you're a psychopath. So I will explain through the steps that D&D Beyond's website, their process of making a character and using no payment methods, not paying for any of the extra stuff. So Dungeons and Dragons, or D&D for short, is a roleplay game, or RPG, consisting of a dungeon master, the one who is a narrator for the story and creates the world, and two or more players, which are the people who play in the world and decide what to do when the dungeon master describes to them the scenario of any circumstance they're in. Now, each character also has at least some sort of goal in a way, or none, it's just for fun. But either way, I use D&D Beyond, and no, this is not an advertisement and a disclaimer. All of what I'm going to be talking about is my own mentality of how to process everything in D&D. So they are not the most informative, but you can just read the descriptions of everything by yourself if you don't like it. Now, there are quick ways to do it, but we shall do standard. Keep in mind what idea of a character you want to play for this, by the way. So ignore the home, because that's stuff I don't want to mess with in fear of messing it up. Anywho, you have the following classes. You have Barbarian, which is people who rage and hit everything. Bard, people who serenade you to flirt or to inspire in battle, or the support. You have Cleric, and they have divine powers and is known for being the healer. Druids can heal, become an animal, and use the earth to do whatever they want. Fighter, they fight. Monk has supernatural ninjas. Paladin is a religious fighter. Rangers, imagine Robin Hood. Rogue, crafty little rats, or a thief. Sorcerer, born with magic. Warlock signed a contract for magic, and wizards studied and learned magic. And lastly, there is Critical Role's Blood Hunter class, which is like a fighter but super intense. So depending on what class you choose, you get to choose additional skills. Like in Fighter, you choose 2 proficient skills in your core traits. Choose a fighting style and choose 3 different weapons to master. I will show you how these affect your in-game character. It also tells you what dice to use for each class, a feature to remember when in a campaign. You know, when I first mentioned keeping in mind what kind of character you want to play? Well, now it's time to spill your thoughts into step 2, background. Now it is to choose your background origin, or to make your own, but with this, like in the classes before, each background comes with different skills and a small summary of what each is. The given options are Acolyte, Criminal or Spy, Sage, Soldier, Noble, Folk Hero, or Haunted One. If you don't want to create one or like any of these, you can just buy other things on D&D Beyond for this, classes, species, campaigns, etc. In your character details, there is your alignment, the character you will play's outlook or type of morals, each with 1-sentence descriptions, so that's pretty easy. There will also be a faith or your religion. Made up or not, you could worship a pineapple. Then a lifestyle, meaning what money do you have? Are you rich or flat broke? You got your character description. Pretty straightforward. Now it's time for personality characteristics. You can make up your own for each section, which are traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws, or if you originally choose the 2014 core rules, it'll give you pre-made ones. This is all to help you make decisions and get in character when you begin to play with your other friends. Then in notes, there is your backstory, any organizations you have or will encounter during the campaign, as well as any allies you may or have encountered. The same goes for enemies. Step 3 is species. Like everything we have covered, your type of species affects what you are good or bad at. I will not name all of the species and what they do because D&D has a lot. Some species have variants like Genasi. There's fire, earth, water, and wind. Or take the elves for example. About 18, but of course not all are for free on D&D Beyond's website. Now, if you didn't pay for anything like me and know a species that is not one of the options, you can always use Homebrew for your character's species, class, etc. With each species, you can be proficient in more skills as well as languages. Feel free to look at the D&D Player Handbook, by the way, to learn more about your character and their backstory and what to do as a player. Now that we are on to step 4, it is abilities. Everything you chose before goes under these 6 categories. Strength, which is how strong you are. Dexterity is how nimble you are. Constitution, which is how healthy you are or how much poison or any bad things like that can you take/consume without dying. Intelligence is what facts can you recall, like when you take a test and you have to remember everything. Wisdom is your intuition or understanding and your perception of what's happening around you during the campaign. These can fit with your character's personality. If they are an airhead, buff, strong, maybe they're just very flirtatious and charismatic, or none of those. It is up to you as the player. But you are given a method of how to put certain points in which class. We'll do standard, even though I preferred rolled because it just gives me bigger numbers and I like being overpowered. Between the 6 abilities, you need to put these following numbers, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, and distribute them into where you want, what, and for why. And because of what you chose in the previous steps, it'll give you bonuses or modifiers on your ability scores. We're almost done. You can have pre-made starting equipment, so pick one and click Add Starting Equipment. Besides that, you can add more items, but there is a limit depending on how much weight you can carry. In equipment, you can also add coins. This is how the currency chart works for it, by the way. We are done. Now this is just to help make the character sheet, so have a nice day, guys. Bye!